there's a guy in Sweden who decided that Eid al-Adha would be a good time to go burn a Quran, which is the holy book of Islam, to burn it. This is in front of the Turkish embassy. Okay. I mean, this is obviously just meant to be provocative, right? So I think this is a different person from the last time that Swedish police allowed somebody to go burn a Quran. And I mean, this is just dumb. I don't think anyone who is enlightened or intelligent goes and does stuff like this. This is just stupid. I'll get into the ramifications of NATO and all these things in a second. I want to show you this video. This is from just yesterday. This is Putin in Dagestan, okay? And he's gifted a copy of the Quran, and look what he says.
Это святыня и мусульманская святыня. И для всех других тоже должна и является святыней. Мы знаем, что в других странах поступают иначе. Не уважают религиозные чувства людей. И еще говорят, что это не преступление. В нашей стране это преступление. И по Конституции, и по 282 статье Уголовного кодекса Российской Федерации. Это преступление. Неуважение и разжигание межрегиональной, межконфессиональной розни. И мы всегда будем придерживаться этих законодательных правил. Спасибо. А вам большое спасибо за этот подарок. Он, безусловно, найдет свое достойное место в Кремле. Вот.
What can I say? He's eloquent in his wording and his acceptance of the gift, and I couldn't agree more with him. Putin is a Christian, as far as I remember. Russia is a Christian Orthodox country, or majoritarily, and they still don't allow you to go burn somebody else's religious book, right? In Sweden, this is the second time, I think. Just in recent history, right? That they've done this, and everyone is upset by this. This is not just Muslims, okay? I mean, Putin is when he's saying in other countries they treat this differently. Those were his words. He's referring to Sweden, right? He knows exactly what is happening. And he's alluding to how this is being done in Sweden. I mean, again, I don't know about you, but freedom of speech for me, this is about criticizing governments, intelligence agencies, holding your government to account. Just burning somebody's religious book for the sake of burning it. I mean, this is the Nazis used to burn books as well. And for me, when you talk about burning books, that's the connotation it's always going to have. It's what dumb people do. It's what bigots do, and it's behavior that the Nazis engaged in. Period. That doesn't necessarily make him a Nazi, but I don't care because it's ignorant behavior to burn a book. Ignorant. You can have your disagreements, go write your own book, whatever. But doing that just because he's going in front of the embassy of a Muslim country and burning it there. You understand? So he's not only inciting civil unrest and religious strife and so on. He's trying to cause an international incident. You must understand this. I don't quite understand how Sweden thinks this is a good idea. I'm pretty sure that you could, fine. It's fine to go protest in front of an embassy. Fine, because belongs to the public, not the embassy, but the streets in front and so on. But the country, the host country, has to guarantee the safety of the guest country. And actually, ironically, I'm going to get to that in a second. They did storm an embassy, the Swedish embassy. I think this is in Baghdad today, right? Which again, if we're being fair, it doesn't justify violating the Vienna Convention. But if you want to look for the root cause, I mean, people in Iraq and Baghdad, they didn't just randomly decide to storm the Swedish embassy because they don't like meatballs or Ikea. There's somebody trying to cause upset on purpose, and this offends people everywhere, from Turkey to Iraq to Indonesia. You're going to have a lot of people who are offended. Even people like myself who are Arab Christians are offended by this because it's not only bigoted, it's just pure ignorance. And look what I want to show you this. This is from El Mayadeen. Okay, so the Archbishop from the Greek Orthodox so church, this is from the Patriarchate in Palestine, right? He phoned in and he said that he condemns the attempt to burn a copy of the Quran, which is a provocative act that affects all of us. Okay, and he says we hold the Swedish government responsible for allowing extremists to carry out this provocative act, knowing that it might as well be deliberate. Okay, but I want you to see this and understand this because, you know, maybe in the West, this is the pinnacle of enlightenment and free speech, that you can go and burn a religious book because you feel like it. But most of the world doesn't view it like that. People who are not even Muslim view this as ignorant behavior. You know, that's not how we're raised. That's not how people behave in the Middle East. Keep in mind, Christians are a minority. So that, I think that says a lot, because if you have your rights respected, you have your religion and ethnicity respected, then, you know, that provides an example for everybody. And that is the case in whether you're in Palestine, right? Which is, you have to keep in mind, Palestine, I mean, this is for Jews, for Christians, Muslims, for all three of the main, you know, monotheistic religions. This is the holiest of places. And, you know, I mean, if it weren't for the Israelis, who ban people from going into church on Easter, as you saw, and who are discriminating against Christians, discriminating against Muslims, things would be a lot nicer. But people have lived with different religions, you know, and ethnicities for thousands of years, precisely in this place because they come from this place. So, you know, it's funny because this person, who I'll get to in a second, but, you know, this person who's burning the Quran and others like that, they think that, oh, well, this is actually being civilized, that you can burn a Quran. But the places where you can't do that, or where people look down upon that or frown upon that, like in the Middle East, they are uncivilized because they don't have free speech. No. Actually, you have everything upside down and mixed up. Being civilized means people live, you know, they live in equality in society. That for me, that's being civilized. You have an equal society. People's rights are respected, right? No one infringes upon their religious beliefs and so on. Freedom of religion, right? So you have this is something that is enshrined even in the U.S. Constitution. And a lot of these countries, like the U.S. in the West, right, they have laws against hate crimes anyway. So I don't know how they managed to fit this in despite these laws. But my point here is not about the law. It's about the mentality in the society. This concept of being civilized, of being advanced. I mean, I don't need to go back to Mesopotamia to tell you, but I will, because the Middle East, Iraq, Syria, Palestine, this is literally the cradle of civilization. Everything started here. The big three religions I just mentioned, agriculture, writing, musical notes, everything, right, comes back to here. And you have to understand that you've had for thousands of years people living alongside each other without this kind of behavior. You know, obviously, I'm speaking broadly, but right now, I can tell you just right now, because I've witnessed this and I've seen this, how it is in the Middle East. You know, just being a minority, if you're a Christian minority in Syria, no one bothers you. It's even rude. It's considered rude to even ask someone their religion, to begin to even discriminate against them. Do you understand? It's rude. You don't do that. You can guess from the name sometimes, right? So, but my point is that for me, that's being civilized, is that you treat everybody fairly. Now, going to let's look at the international ramifications. Turkey, as you remember, blocked, or ostensibly is blocking, Sweden's accession to NATO because of this behavior. So they say, we are not going to allow you to join. We are not going to give you our vote, because you need everybody to vote yes. You need a unanimous vote to approve a new NATO member. Now, if you ask me, and I think you are because you're watching, I think Turkey will definitely give them the yes in the end, because that's how Turkey is. You know, they are quite literally caught in the middle. but politically speaking, you know, Turkey's, you know, especially with Erdogan, he tries to please both sides, and he can't get away from this membership bid for NATO. It's too big of an issue for him to ignore. He is of course getting concessions in return for approving, you know, Finland and Sweden. What are they? For example, extradition of PKK members, right? Or alleged PKK members. So PKK is the Kurdish Workers' Party, which Turkey considers a terrorist organization. They have lifted the arms embargo on Turkish, in regards to Turkey as well. That's another concession that he was able to extract. So he's going to do this for as long as he can before finally approving them, okay? But he is right, of course, Turkey's a majority Muslim country. He is right, of course, to be upset about this, but I don't think you have to be a Muslim to be upset about it. It's just dumb. It's dumb. Dumb behavior, and the fact that he's going to do it in front of embassies, it shows that he's trying to piss people off. The Iraqi foreign ministry, they summoned the Swedish ambassador. Oh my God, I would not like to be a Swedish ambassador right now. They're going to get summoned in every single Muslim country. I guarantee you. They have to go in to the foreign ministry. They get dressed down and told to clean up their act. There's some people saying that this guy here who burned the Quran, outside this. Forgive me, by the way, they're conflicting reports. Some people say he did it in front of an embassy, and others say in front of a mosque. I mean, does it really matter? It's the act itself that people are upset about. But of course, it does matter when he did it in front of the Turkish embassy before, when he's trying to, cause outrage. Going and doing it in front of an embassy will definitely achieve that goal. But now it's become too much of an issue. If you go and do it in front of a mosque in Sweden, especially on during a holiday like Eid al-Adha, people are going to know and they're going to get angry, and this is going to have far-reaching implications. Now, this is the Swedish embassy in Iraq, and people stormed it, but nothing really happened. I mean, they stormed it and stayed there for like 15 minutes, and then the police came and they left. So, I mean, thankfully, no one is hurt and everything's fine. We were mentioning the Vienna Convention earlier. That's not allowed. The police need to take better care of that, and you can't just allow random people to walk into an embassy, right? Because just like I understand why people are angry, definitely. But after all, this is an embassy, and Vienna Convention is very clear. I wouldn't tolerate it if somebody did it to the Iraqi embassy either, right? So fair is fair. I'm just being consistent, and as I said, it's the responsibility of the host country to protect the guest. This is Iraq's responsibility. They have a duty and a legal obligation and a moral and ethical one to protect every embassy, not just the Swedish one, even if they don't like what those countries are doing inside of theirs. Obviously, there are limits, but the limits can be, if Iraq feels they've reached the limit of their relationship with Sweden, then they can expel the diplomats and cut off ties and recall their diplomatic corps, that are stationed in Sweden. Then you've reached your limits. I don't think that's the case, and there's no need to blow things out of proportion. I'm just saying that there are protocols for when you think you've really had it with a country, and that's it. Obviously, though, I don't think that this is, what am I supposed to say? It's just dumb behavior. I think this is someone who's trying to get attention just for the sake of getting attention, and they couldn't come up with anything better. Now, I want to tell you something, and keep in mind, this is unconfirmed. I could not find a reliable source regarding this, but there are people online saying, and this was also in some outlets, but again, not confirmed, that the guy doing the burning, right, this provocateur, he is actually himself from Iraq, right? And some people were saying that he's not only from Iraq, that he was fighting in a Syrian brigade, against ISIS presumably, right? Because this was a brigade linked to Iran or something. But I have a hard time connecting all of this stuff because it's just there's no proof of it whatsoever. And the fact that once again, whether this guy is from Iraq or he's from the moon, and the religion he is, does it really matter? If somebody's burning a Torah, so Old Testament, you're not going to tolerate that, right? Or same thing for a Bible, or I mean, they're both Bibles, but you understand what I mean. And yeah, I think Putin is taking the high road here. Again, I'm going to play this clip because he says it perfectly, right?
Это святыня, мусульман, и мусульманская святыня, и для всех других действительно тоже должна и является святыней. Мы знаем, что в других странах поступают иначе, не уважают религиозные чувства людей. И еще говорят, что это не преступление.
You know, for those of you who are interested, tell you a little fun fact. You know, in the Quran, they mention Jesus actually more times than Muhammad, the Rasulullah, right? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, the level of Arabic in the Quran is like, it's not just gold standard. It's literally called Quranic Arabic because it's of such a high level. Even people who are fluent in Arabic might have a problem reading it. You know, it's like it's Arabic in its purest form as a language. Never mind the religious you know, value of the book itself, of course. But from a grammatical point of view, and a linguistic point of view, this is peak Arabic. You know, you have, of course, you know, Fusha and you know, a standardized Arabic, but that's different, right? That's when you're reading the news, or you're a, you know, a news anchor and so on. That's different. It's also, you know, high Arabic or classical Arabic, but this is beyond that. So just to show you that by burning this book, you are not only committing a crime against another religion, you are committing a crime against an entire culture and language. You know, it's so ignorant that I can only describe it as such. Period.